Let's get one thing straight, detachmentists. Not about playing games. It's not about pretending you don't care when you do. It's not about ignoring. It's texts forwards to make someone sweat, and it's definitely not about acting like love doesn't matter to you. Detachment is power. It's a shift in focus. It's the ability to hold your own no matter what's happening around you. Too many women fall into the trap of thinking, the more they give, the more they prove their worth. If I just love him harder, if I just show him how much I care, if I just make him see how good we're together, he won't pull away. Bother's the hard truth when you aperitif from that place. When you cling, when you've ever invest is attached to an outcome, they can sense when you're waiting on their text, when your mood depends on their attention, when your whole emotional world is wrapped up in them, and that energy it doesn't inspire love, it suffocates it. Bet a woman who is detached, she's different, she's magnetic, not because shadow sent care, but because she isn't seeking external validation to feel well. She moves through life with acquio confidence of someone who knows her worth no matter what, and that's irresistible. Now, let's talk about what detachment actually looks like. It means you don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. You're not waiting by the phone, overanalyzing his words, or twisting yourself into knots trying to be enough. You already arraign. And you know that if some you can see that it's their loss, not your set, means you don't chase. Not because you're playing hard to get, but Pacosu are hard to get. You're selective with your energy. You're not available for inconsistency, breadcrumbs, or half-hearted effort. And if someone wants to be in your life, they need to earn thought place. It means you don't overgive. So many women pour themselves into people who haven't even shown up for them yet. They invest too much too soon, hoping to be chosen. But when you detach, you stop giving out love like it's a bribe. You let people prove they deserve your time and attention before you hand it over. And most importantly, it means you stop attaching your happiness to someone else's actions. A man not texting back does not define your worth. A man pulling away does not mean you did something wrong. A relationship ending does not mean you failed. When you're detached, you realize that your emotions are yours to control. You don't let someone else's behavior dictate how you'll feel about yourself. But listen, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold or emotionally unavailable. It means you'll love with an open hand instead of a clenched fist. It means you allow things to flow rather than trying to force them. It means you understand that what's meant for you will stay, and what isn't you're willing to let go. And here's the beautiful part. When you detach, you don't lose love, you invite a better love. You attract people who respect your boundaries, who value your presence, who rise to meet your energy. Instead of draining it, you create space for the kind of love that doesn't trake it. You two chase, beg, or prove that kind of love that feels like home instead of a battlefield. So the next time you feel yourself gripping too tightly, whether it's to a relationship in outcome or a person who isn't meeting you, halfway pause, breathe, and remind yourself you need to control this to be okay. You don't need to force anything that's truly meant for you, because a woman who is detached, she is powerful, she is free, and men can't resist her. Let's talk about energy, because it speaks before you do. It enters the room before you say a word. It's the thing people feel a booty before they even know you. And when it comes to relationships, your energy is hither, pulling someone in or pushing them away, whether you realize it or not. You've probably experienced this. You've met someone who didn't even have veto say much, but there was something about something that made them intriguing, something that made you pay attention. And on the flip side, you've probably also met someone who energy felt off. Maybe they were too eager, tunctious, or trying too hard, and it made you feel uneasy. This is why energy is everything. You can say all the right words, wear all the right things, and play all the right rules, but if your energy is screaming insecurity, desperation, or fear, that's what people will pick up on. And when you're interacting with men, this matters even more, because the attraction isn't just about what's being said, it's about what's felt. Think about when you're waiting for a text back. If your energy is calm, grounded, and detached, it's easy to wait to send the message and go about your day, because you're not basing your worth in the response. But if your energy is needy, anxious, or averinvestant, the waiting, the emotional roller coaster of why hasn't he replied it, or did I say something wrong, or a maybe if I double check, he'll answer. That energy doesn't just stay inside of you, it translates into your actions at Makasu, react instead of receive. It Makasu, overcompensate, air explain, or overgive, and that's when things start to fall apart. Because here's what most women don't realize the second. Your energy shifts into needing someone to validate you, the dino changes, you stop being the woman he was drawn to in the first place, the one who is effortlessly herself the one. Wanu, she was enough. Instead, you become Samin, who is seeking something from him, and men feel that shift. They may not be able to put it into words, but they sense. They sense when you're looking to them for approval, when you're waiting on their next move to decide how you'll feel about yourself when your happiness is tied to their responses and that energy. It's heavy, it's pressure, and it's the opposite of attraction. The flip side, when a woman isn't tired when she knows her worth without needing someone else to confirm it, that energy is magnetic. She's not worried about whether he texts or not because she's busy. She's not analyzing for a little detail because she's securing herself. She's not waiting, she's living. And that energy, that's what men can't resist. Because here's something you need to know: people don't fall forwards. They fall for how you make them feel. And when you're radiating confidence, self-respect, and ease, it changes the way you move, the way you communicate, the way you show up in every interaction. You don't rush, you don't force, you don't need anyone to make. You'll feel chosen because you've already chosen yourself. That's why energy matters more than words. You can't convince someone to like you. You can't make someone value you, but when you shift your energy, when you start showing up as the woman, know she's valuabler than the one trying to prove it, to change everything. Because men don't respond to pressure, they respond to presence. They respond to a woman who is already enough, who is full of life, who is connected to her own joy, her own purpose, her own self. That's the kind of energy they can't ignore. So the next time you feel yourself overthinking, waiting, or needing something outside of herself to feel, okay, pause, breathe, shift. Ask yourself, what's the energy you want to bring into this moment? Because trust me, your energy speaks louder than any words ever could, and when you learn to own it, you become unstoppable. Let's be real. Overanalyzing is exhausting, it drains. Your energy steals your peace and makes you question things that don't even need questioning. You get stuck in a loop, replaying conversations, dissecting text messages, and trying to predict someone else's thoughts like your happiness depends on it. But here's the truth, it doesn't. It never did, more. You analyze, the more you suffer. You start attaching meaning to things that didn't actually mean anything. A delayed text turns into maybe he's losing interest. A short response becomes did I say something wrong? A shift in his tone makes you spiral into what did I do. Suddenly you're stuck in your head trying to solve a problem that doesn't even exist. And while you're doing that, while you're stuck overthinking ever a little a dale, you're not actually living your innate present. You're not enjoying yourself. You're waiting for a sign, waiting for clarity, waiting for someone else's actions to give you permission to feel okay. But what if you didn't have to doth it? What if instead of trying to figure everything out, you just let it be? Because here's the thing, the right things in life don't need to be dissected. They flow, they feel you see. They don't make you feel like who. Need to decode every interaction just to understand where you stand. When something is good for you, it does it create anxiety. It creates peace, so why waste her time obsessing over what someone else thinks when you could be out living your life? Why waste energy trying to control something that's not even in your control? The only thing you can control is you, your energy, your focus, your happiness. And when you shift your attention back to yourself, instead of analyzing someone else's behavior, everything changes. Imagine if you took all that energy you spend worrying about a text, a call, or a situation you can't control, and put it into your passions, your goals, your joy. Imagine if instead of waiting for someone to validate your worth, you've just decided you are already worthy because you are. When you stay analyzing, you start entrusting that if something is meant for you, it will be clear, trusting that the people who truly care about you won't leave you confused, trusting that no matter what the pines, you will be fine. And that kind of trust that's powerful, it makes you unshakable. It allows you to live in the moment. Instead of trying to control the future, it lets you enjoy people instead of trying to predict their next move. It makes you magnetic because nothing is more attractive than a woman who isfully present fully herself and fully live. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling, pause, take a breath, remind yourself, I don't need to have all the answers right now, and then go do something that makes you feel good, something that brings you back to Yalback, because life isn't meant to be analyzed, it's meant to be lived. Silence is one oft most powerful things you can masterate, speaks louder than words, carries more weight than explanations, and has ability to shift an entire dynamic without you having to lift a finger. Yet most people don't know how to use it. Instead, they react, they are going to over-explain to prove their worth, their feelings, their point. But here's the truth. Power isn't in the reaction. It's in the restraint. Think about the last time someone upset you, maybe they ignored your message, said something disrespectful, or made you feel like an afterthought. What was your first instinct? If you're like most people, it was probably to react, to demand an answer, to express frustration, to say something that would make them see how they hurt you. But did it help? Or did it just make you feel like you were giving way your power? Because here's the thing, reacting emotionally doesn't make people listen. It doesn't make them respect you more. If anything, it gives them control. It shows them that they can affect you thought. Their actions dictate your emotions, and once they know that they can push and pull you as they please. But when you react, when you choose silence over chasing, when you remove your energy instead of proving your point, that is one. The dynamic shifts. Silence forces people to sit with their own actions. It makes them wonder, why isn't she responding? Why isn't she fighting for my attention? It creates space for them to feel the absence of your energy, and that absence is often more powerful than anything you could ever say when you react impulsively. You give people an easy way out. You give them a response. If you can dismiss a fight, they can blame you on you, an emotional reaction. They can use to justify their behavior, but when you're zealot, they're left with only them vestier actions, their choices. And that is what makes them reflect. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore things that genuinely need to be addressed. It means you choose when and if something is worth your energy. It means you recognize if that not everything deserves a response, or that sometimes the best way to communicate your value is to say nothing yet. All because silence isn't weakness. It's not avoidance. It's control. It's the ability to sit in your power without the need to beg, convince, or prove. And the moment you master that, you become untouchable. If you want to keep a man interested, you have to understand one fundamental truth. People value what they have to earn. When something is too easy, too available, or too predictable, it loses its excitement. Becomes routine in relationships. Routine often kills attraction faster than anything else in L. Let's be clear, this isn't about playing games or manipulating someone by deliberately ignoring them. It's about creating natural space. It's about having a life so full, so rich, and so engaging that you aren't sitting around waiting for him to call, text, or plan the next date. It's about being a woman who isn't available all the time, not because she's trying to make him chase her, but because she has things going on, things that revolve around him. Men are whereto crave a little challenge, not an insistence that they want drama, but an insistence that they want to feel like they're earning your time and attention. A woman is always available, always waiting, always accommodating. Shun intentionally removes that challenge, and once a man feels like he doesn't have to put an effort, he stops Putin Ganfort. Think about it. How do you feel when something is just handed to you without any effort, when there's no anticipation, no sense of excitement, no need to work for it? It's human naturetto. Take for granted the things that require no effort to keep, and the saplies to relationships too. Being unavailable sometimes means you don't drop everything just because he texts. It means you don't rearrange your entire schedule to fit his. It means that when it reaches out, you don't always jump tourist, respond immediately, not because you're trying to be distant, but by Cosio have a life that doesn't revolve around him. In that life, that's what makes Yai attractive. That's what makes him want to be around you. When a woman is too available, she unknowingly sends a message. You are the most important thing in my life, and I will always prioritize you over myself. And while that might sound romantic, it actually does the opposite of what you want. It makes a man feel like he doesn't have to do anything to keep your attention. There's No excitement, no mystery, no pelethought makes him want tochus. But when you are so metamesonaval, when you are busy, engaged, and living your life on your own terms, he starts to notice. Starts to wonder what you're up to. He starts to miss you, and that is what keeps Thespark alive. Now, this isn't about Makinga man insecure, or playing hard to get Tuth point where he feels unwanted. It's about balance. It's about showing up when you genuinely want to, while also macking so you don't lose yourself in the process. It's about making sure that you're main the priority in your own life rather than making him your priority, because here's the truth. Men fall in love with women who make them feel something, and when you are always available, predictably remove that sense of excitement. You become comfortable. And while comfort is great, for long-term connection, attraction thrives on anticipation. Unmissing someone on wanting to be around them. The irony is, when you stop macking yourself, so available you don't lose him, you make him want you more. You create a space where he has to step up, put in effort, and choose to be around you in, instead of just expecting you to always be there. So instead of constantly buying one to reach out, let him wonder about you sometimes. Instead of buying free every time he asks to hang out, leave him. See that you have other things going on instead of always. Respond and gently. Take your time, not as a strategy, but because you're genuine a Bessie, building a life you love. When you do this, something shifts. Starts appreciating your time more. He starts valuing your presence because he sees that it's not something he can take for granted. He starts choosing you rather than just expecting you to be there, and that's what keeps him interested. Game's not manipulation, just a woman who knows her worth, lives her life, and lets him earn his place in it. Negative feelings have a way of consuming you. If you let them, they creep in quietly. At first, doubt, anxiety, frustration, until suddenly they're running the show, your play converse. Asians in your head analyze situations that didn't go the way you wanted and get caught in an emotional storm that feels impossible to escape. But what if the way out isn't through more thinking, more analyzing, or more effort? What if the real cure to work? Negative feelings is detachment. Detachment doesn't mean stop caring. It doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or pretend nothing affects you. True detachment means stepping back and refusing to let a mot control you. It's about creating enough space between you and your feelings so that you can observe them instead of being consumed by them. Think about how much energy Yawasti, holding on to things that don't serve you, obsessing over what Sumia Niels thinks, reliving past mistakes, fearing outcomes that haven't even happened. All of this drains you. It keeps you stuck, and it gives power to things. Thatch Holden, have control over your life, but when you detach, everything shifts. Instead of reacting impulsive, you pause instead of drowning in your emotions. You allow them to pass through you instead of attaching your happiness to external things, how someone treats you. Whether things go your way, you find peace within yourself. The truth is, most of our suffering comes from attachment to people. Behaving a certain way, attachment to outcomes, turning out exactly as we imagined, attachment to the idea that things need to happen on line, and when reality doesn't match the expectations, we feel pain. But pain isn't caused by the situation itself. It's caused by resistance to what is, and detachment is the antidote, toth it resistance. It allows you to accept life as it comes without letting it define your emotional state. It gives you freedom. Detachment doesn't mean disengagement. It means you show up fully, love deeply, and give your best, but you don't cling. You don't need things to go a certain way. To feel okay, you don't tire. Happiness to whether someone stays or leaves, whether an opportunity works out or falls through. You trust that no matter what happens, you'll be fine. And when you trust that everything changes, you stop overreacting, you stop begging for answers, you stop gripping. So Titlianto. Things that aren't meant for you move with ease because you know that what's meant for you will always find you. Detachment gives you clarity. It removes the fog of overthinking and allows you to respond instead of react. It keeps you from making decisions based in fear or desperation. It helps you recognize when something isn't aligned with you so you can let go instead of forcing it. When you practice detachment to regain your power, you take control off your emotions instead of letting them control. You stop chasing things that drain you and start attracting things that are meant for you. And most importantly, you realize that peace was never in the Outcome, it was Alois Within. You at the end of the day detachment isn't about being cold or indifferent, it's about being free. The need to control, free from thweet of overanalyzing, free from the emotional roller coaster that comes with attachment to things outside of your control. It's about reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your power. When you learn to detach, you stop letting external circumstances dictate your emotional state. You stop giving people, situations, or outcomes the ability to define your happiness. Instead, you move through life with confidence, knowing that whatever happens, you will be okay, and that kind of energy. That's unstoppable. That's what makes you magnetic. That's what allows you to truly live instead of just reacting to life. So take a deep breath, release the need to grip so tightly, and remind yourself you are whole on your own. You didn't need validation, approval, or certainty to be at peace. Everything that meant for you will come with ease, and everything that leaves was never truly aligned the moment you let go. Document is the moment you step into your true power, and from that place, you can create a life that feels light, effortless, and free.